Congratulations on one more city to Shrewsbury, India.
A lot of people say, why Bhopal? I mean, Bhopal, who studies in central India? There's no legacy of residential schools. And I always say, why not Bhopal?
We are a result-driven country. You know, we're all about academic excellence. Do you feel the pressure of delivering that already? When we're talking of legacy and we're talking of evolution at the same time, how is it going to balance and in what form? Almost makes any one of us want to go back to school again because we've never seen infrastructure like that.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome. It's been a long day and you guys have been pretty much talking about Shrewsbury, India, and everybody's very, very excited. Dominic, first to you, namaste.
Namaste.
And tell me all the Hindi that you've learned in the last 2 months.
Well, that would take a very long time and I know you have other questions.
Okay, this is what happens to him when he's at 11 p.m. when we're shooting that late. But first headmaster for Shrewsbury, India. What is that like, and what burden are you carrying on your shoulders, or what responsibility rather?
What a great opportunity. So I've been really drawn here by the fact that Shrewsbury has this great legacy. Back in the UK, it is genuinely famous for its whole person education. The marriage of that with Jagran Welfare Society here in India just makes it a really enticing proposition. I guess in terms of the responsibility, really it is about us demonstrating what can be achieved in education when you have the clarity of vision and the backing to make things happen. So we are going to be producing a fabulous educational opportunity that will really see young people able to explore where their talents and interests lie, and then have everything on their doorstep in a residential boarding school setting to take those talents and interests to mastery. The responsibility, well, I absolutely relish it. I'm looking forward to bringing this school to life.
Right. And Abhishek, again, congratulations on one more city and one more awareness on spreading out an incredible infrastructure you're building for Shrewsbury, India. Tell me about Jagran Welfare and why did you decide on Shrewsbury, India?
So Jagran Welfare Society's journey started in 2000, rather than 1997 when we got registered as a non-profit society for operating schools. 2000 is when we signed our first school with Delhi Public School, and that was the first franchisee ever of Delhi Public School outside Delhi. So in a sense, we have the legacy of opening something outside and bringing it to Bhopal. But yeah, that's where our journey started. From there, one school led to another, to third, to fourth. We ventured into higher education in 2008, got Leeds Met, which is my alma mater, to India for the first international campus. Did that, and then 2013 we entered in, and made that campus into a full-fledged university. So, I mean, education is very, very close to us, and we really feel that it's very important that great education service is provided. And because education not only changes one person, but changes the family as a whole. Right. And I think we are very, very focused on doing that. We are also very conscious on our other responsibility of uplifting the society as a whole. And that's when we bring in the Shiksha Kendras we run. 4 of them, 1,600 students studying free of cost there. But our model is very different. It's not like random schools picked up. Our own school, our own teachers teaching in the second half because the school buildings are empty. Right. So I think when we come to Shrewsbury, I think it was like a next stepping stone for us. Luckily, COVID hit. Luckily, and it's a bad word to say, but yes, for us, because it gave me personally a lot of breathing space. Actually, for 2 years, literally had nothing to do. Yeah. No, because I only look at operations. So the way we work is we leave the academics, the decision making to the professionals, and we only focus on the operations. Right. And because there was no operation technically happening, so we were absolutely free for 2 years. And that's when we started looking at, okay, what next? Because it was time, and our track record says every 3 years we need to bring a new project. And we were all very itchy how and what we want to do. And that's when one of my friends brought this opportunity to me that Shrewsbury wants to come to India, and why not you bring them, because your value system and their value system matches together so well. Yeah. And that's when the whole discussion started with them. 2 years, the whole COVID period, we were only discussing on Zoom calls. And yeah, and as soon as the COVID finished, we were ready to sign.
I mean, with this incredible legacy of education that you've built over such a long period of time, how is that going to be different or complementing bringing a boarding school? Because you've not done a boarding school before.
No, I mean, technically, yes, not a full boarding school, but we have boarding facilities in each of our schools and universities. So we do understand what boarding is about. But I think when we see as a society, we always believe in bringing innovation and taking that big leap that can transform a bigger section of people. And I think Shrewsbury does that very beautifully. International school, a lot of people say, why Bhopal? I mean, Bhopal, who studies in central India? There's no legacy of residential schools. And I always say, why not Bhopal? I think it's a beautiful place, very central to India. Everyone can fly in, fly out within 1 hour from every city possible in India. And I think a lot of legacy schools are very dependent on location. I mean, I have friends whose kids are studying in different legacy schools. They struggle to reach there technically. But Bhopal is very accessible, cleanest and greenest capital of India, becoming a education hub as well. I mean, all your national level institutions are there. So why not Bhopal? And I think the kind of land piece we have there, I think 150 acres is next to impossible to get anywhere. Right. And I think that really sold me to that, yes, I want to do this in Bhopal, because we wanted to bring that largeness to the campus. A residential school, international nature, should look international. It should not look like, yes, for the name you're doing international.
Yeah, it almost makes any one of us who's studied in India want to go back to school again, because we've never seen infrastructure like that. Yeah. I mean, both you guys have been touring all across the country, and of course to a lot of cities which have been capitals of boarding school. How do you see pieces of evolution that you're bringing with Shrewsbury into those legacy gaps, legacy school gaps, and how was the brand going to fix it?
I think a lot of legacy schools have not been able to evolve with time. And I think new generation parents needs new things. And the advantage with Shrewsbury is that they have evolved over 470 years. Yeah. So I don't know how many times they've evolved in that moment. So in those many years, but they're still relevant nationally in the UK as well as internationally in the global market. And I think their choice of getting newer things into their curriculum, the way they teach, the way they think, makes them very, very relevant in today's world. And with the national education policy which has been launched in India, if you see that document very closely and what Shrewsbury wants to achieve are very, very same. So I think it is the right time when such school comes to India. And I mean, we have received some phenomenal response across India, and we are very lucky that people are accepting what we are trying to give them as a vision, actually, of a real international residential school.
Right. Dominic, do you want to add?
I think it's about educational philosophy and an educational philosophy that has, as Abhishek has said, evolved with the times. So when I have been up to visit Shrewsbury in the UK, it's very evident that the educational philosophy is the philosophy and practice, not just something espoused, not just something written down. It's alive and well in all the stakeholders in the school, so the pupils, the parents, the staff. And they are very progressive in the way that they think about how education works, and they have adapted their pedagogical approach, the way that they teach and educate, really to reflect the changing times. As importantly, I think there is a great desire to make sure that everything that we know about how young people learn and develop is actually included in the approach to teaching and learning. And we talk a lot about really getting to know the kids. In absolute terms, it's really being able to have a proper dialogue with the young person. So developing that trusting, open relationship, professional, trusting, open relationship, but also crafting a shared vocabulary. So often you may have come across it yourself. I know I did. Must try harder. It's like, well, what is it you actually want me to do? And if you can't have a whole conversation about actually what is the next step, how do I get the next mark, then the young person is left with, I am already trying hard. What is it that you want me to do? So a lot of it is about crafting this shared vocabulary and making sure that you have the relationship, that you can have a proper dialogue.
I am so impressed that you say that, because I often find parents today largely having a monologue, educators having a monologue. So I'm so happy that you're actually saying that there's got to be a dialogue and shared vocabulary, because I think that's a very, very progressive way of finally looking at how our children want to be rooted in discipline, but yet have an opinion of their own. So I find that incredibly valuable. Tell me, when we're talking of legacy and we're talking of evolution at the same time, how is it going to balance and in what form?
So I think when you look at 472 years, the way I think we need to think about it is, here is an institution that has more than survived, it's thrived for nearly 5 centuries.
Yes.
And you don't do that by looking backwards. Yes, you can take great confidence and to some extent some security from having history, having traditions, but you mustn't allow yourself to rely on those heavily, become complacent. And actually the great success of Shrewsbury has been the fact that it has been forward-looking. It has always been looking to educate young people for the world that those young people will join. Not today's world, not yesteryear, about the world as it is changing. And one of the great developments I saw when I was in Shrewsbury was their digital literacy program, which is not a separate program. So they have really thought about it carefully, and they've said, okay, well, here are the skills and the knowledge that the young people need to know in that space. How do we get this done in the subjects they're already going to be studying, and then monitor that very carefully. And as a consequence, young people at Shrewsbury, and we'll be doing this in India as well, are really developing the IT, the AI, the technological awareness through the normal curriculum, because it's being highlighted where those skills can be developed in that normal curriculum.
Interesting. To the both of you, and like you said in your presentation, 80% of students who go to Shrewsbury are obviously amongst the Ivy League schools and a few of the Russell schools. India is going to be very, very focused on results. We are a result-driven economy. Do you feel the pressure of delivering that already? And is there a roadmap that you have in terms of, we're all about academic excellence?
I'd say academic excellence is a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
But what I say is, look, we give the young people the best of opportunities to excel academically, but the truism of the modern world is grades on their own are not enough. So in a very basic sense, it doesn't matter what grade level you're at, thousands of other people are going to get exactly the same. Right. So how do you make yourself stand out? And then there is also the piece around, you can be an outstanding academic, but actually if you can't express yourself, you can't manage your emotions, you can't deal with conflicts, it's going to be for nothing. So that whole person education, understanding how to make the most of yourself, but also developing the skills, attitudes and habits you're going to need to navigate, realize your ambition, is really key. But those are the skills, attitudes and habits that you need also to navigate challenges. And life is not always going to be easy. You're going to have those challenges, disappointments along the way. And making sure that you are able to deal with them is a fundamentally important part of education.
Right. Also, we see that a lot of parents have great apprehension about sending their kids away from home. Just lack of safety. It could be mental, physical, emotional. How are you going to ensure that there is safety of all aspects, especially dealing with teenagers and young adults? That's going to be quite a challenge.
So one of the observations I make about dealing with teenagers as an educator, a teacher, a headmaster, is one of the great advantages I have is I am not their parent. So I can have a very different conversation with them, which has been valuable. I can also have the conversation with the parents. In terms of the Shrewsbury approach, the way we've built the school and are designing the supervision, it is with safety first in mind. We've adopted the British building standards, and Shrewsbury have been very closely involved with the design of the school and through the build. We're also adopting the same standards for child protection and safeguarding. But actually, the biggest thing we're doing is insisting that we have the right staff and the right staff ratios to really get to know the kids, really develop those close, positive professional relationships that enable us to have the dialogue. Because the only way you can find out what's going on inside someone's head is to be able to talk to them openly about it. And in doing that, we can catch any issues early, and as a consequence, really work hard to stop them turning into something more significant and more serious.
Interesting. On the timelines of the school, how early and what will your messaging be to the parents?
I think we said starting our first academic session from August 25. I think to be precise, 18th of August is the first day. In terms of campus build, obviously the campus still be building up, but we are at very good space. And I think from middle of October onwards, parents are invited to see the campus, because we do understand that parents would need to take a decision seeing how the facilities are and what are the safety aspects, and we are prepared for it. I think I would want to add what Dominic was saying, that not only we have taken care of the Indian standards, but we have gone a step ahead and ensured what are the global British residential school standards are, and following those guidelines. And if that's part of the agreement, I would say, which Shrewsbury was, that you will follow those kind of standards, because we are ultimately making a true international school. So we should not be happy enough by matching the Indian standards, which might be different for different states. So there's a benchmark in terms of faculty selection, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of safety of the child. And I think that's very important, because in any residential school, safety is a matter of the biggest concern for any parent. I mean, if my son will go out, I will first see safety, then academics, then anything else. What's going to happen with them? So I think, yes, as I was saying before also, that I mean, no three renders will be able to match the actual feel of being on the campus. I mean, I go almost every day to the campus, and there's a different kind of feeling you go every time. If different corners of the campus have a different feel. When you look towards a building, and an academic building or an aquatic building, you see different shades and different feel, and you really envision how these buildings are going to come to life in less than a year. And I think that's the most exciting part of building a campus from scratch. And I think we all are looking forward to welcoming our first batch to the campus.
Right, incredible. Thank you to the both of you for this incredible chat, and wishing you guys all the very best. I don't know how we're going to do it with so many students, given that we struggle with do at home. You have like a really, really uphill task. So good luck with that. And look forward to connecting with you guys super soon, as we have the school in brick and mortar.
Yeah, we'll be most happy to host you.
Thank you.
So we're really looking forward to seeing you in Bhopal and joining us at Shrewsbury International School in India.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
For parenting tips, celebrity interviews, recipes, conversations with experts, DIYs, and lots more. Subscribe to Kidsstoppress now.